5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Playing once again Halo the Master Chief Collection. A lot of people liked it last time. We're doing it again. We're back, and we're back for a very special reason this time, because Brett has closed the final curtain on Halol Season 1. Brett,
that's right. It was quite the journey. There were quite a few moments where I was like, I don't know if we were even gonna make it, but we did. We made it. Pop, we're here now.
That is
quite the journey. There were quite a few moments where I was like, okay.
Honestly,
cool.
That's incredible. I mean, it's truly. I mean, how many episodes is it? I don't even know what the count is at this point.
That's a great question. I think it came in close to 17 or 18. There is episode 9, which is a lost episode.
Which people might see what happened with that in the near future.
Right, yeah. So that how many episodes is a great question, and I don't have a straight answer for you, but you know what? It was a great journey. We had a great time, and Dan had a great time. That was Dan's first introduction to the Halo universe, and we had an absolute ball. It was super fun, and we're now moving on to Halo 2, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. Yeah, it was fantastic. We had a really good time on the mall mission, because it had that legendary warthog race along the ship to get out. And I don't know about you, but that moment, that mission always sticks out in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's iconic, really. Yeah,
it is the most, it is stress-inducing. It is crazy. And of course, Dan and I, we play, and we try and play hard and do a good job and everything. But boy, the first time that we attempted that mission, we got up the elevator, we got into the the garage, we hopped in a warthog, and we pull out of the garage and just immediately into this flaming overturned warthog. And we're on fire, and it flips over, and we're under attack by Flood and Covenant. And I was like, we're not gonna make it. We're barely out of the garage. The clock is ticking. We are overturned and on fire. There's no way. And we did. The first time around, it did not go well. But the second time, we managed to actually escape. But just, I don't know, that I think that mission, of all the missions in the original Halo game, I think really is the one that takes me back to the very first time I ever played it. And just because, I don't know, the stress feeling that I got the first time I played it was still there, even after all those times, going through that campaign and playing it. And you're just driving, and it's not an easy level. Whoever designed the Pillar of Autumn and that ridiculous spinal corridor, they have to drive down with all these bridges and tunnels. Who did what madman or woman thought that would be a good idea and made it vehicle accessible? That is just outrageous. That is the biggest crime I think humanity has ever committed. It's well, okay, maybe not, but
yeah,
it's pretty bad. Okay.
The biggest engineering disaster.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Why? Just why? But super fun, super fun through and through. I don't know if some people know this. Keegan, you're playing through Halo 2 right now, right? Oh, no, it comes out soon.
Yeah, so if you're watching this at any point in time that's not like a week from now. It's it's already out and I'm already playing it. But no, literally a week from Tuesday, I think it comes out for PC, and I'm utterly jazzed.
Have you ever played through Halo 2 before?
There's bits and pieces. I remember playing on my friends' like Xboxes and co-op mode.
Okay.
But like I really don't have any kind of grasp or memory really of what the campaign was.
Okay, so just very briefly, Halo 2's campaign is amazing. Some people argue that Halo 2's multiplayer is like the best it ever got. You know, it truly peaked at Halo 2. And in the development of the campaign, the developers had it even longer. Like they had to cut out a whole bunch of stuff because the campaign was just simply too long. and one of the things that they unfortunately had to cut out at the very end of the game was another timed Warthog like race to the finish.
No way.
Yeah. And I think I saw like test footage of it somewhere. And I was like, part of me was really sad that didn't make it into the final cut of the game. And then part of me was really relieved because, you know, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, it's so awesome and it's so much fun. But you only say that after it's done. Yeah. Because during it, you're just like, crap. This Warthog has terrible maneuverability. Why am I doing this? Like, quit running into the wall. You know, like it just. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I am super excited for you to play through that campaign because it's fantastic. But Dan and I had a great time. Super fun watching it all wrap up. And just, you know, I don't know. Having him get to experience it for the first time and everything was fantastic. And you know, I even love like looking back at some of the videos that we made because it's super fun. We have a friend, his name's Kyle, and he actually lives in Louisiana. And we recently like turned him on to like our, you know, the show, and he watched the entire thing in a day. And at the end of it, like, at the end of it, like, he texted Dan afterwards, and he's like, there were points where I had to remind myself that you two weren't actually here. Because, like, an episode would end, and he's like, I'm having such a fun time hanging out with Brett and Dan. And he's like, oh, wait, they're not actually here.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Shout out to Kyle Culbertson if you're ever watching this.
I mean, honestly, though, I think that's a testament to the show. Because when we first started, I mean, almost all the content on Carpe Ludos when we launched in January, which feels like 8 years ago, given
oh my gosh, I can't believe that.
When we launched in January, most of our shows would get, you know, just a small handful of views every week. But to see that number grow each and every week and have a whole new group of people watching it every single week is like crazy. It's like, you know, the more we keep going, the more people keep watching, and the more metrics are showing that people are watching Halol, like serial watching it, like binging it, which is super awesome. So
yeah, shout out to all you people who are watching it. I hope that you are enjoying it, or at least enjoying making fun of Dan and I as we attempt to play our way through the campaigns. Because let's face it, there are quite a few moments in there that weren't so great for us.
Yeah, you had some grueling moments for sure.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites was Assault on the Control Room, and well, actually there were two good moments that came out of that mission, both in the same spot. It's like halfway through, and you're trying to maneuver down into this canyon, and there's this long twisted, or not like super long, but this like ramp that like twists around. It's a very sharp turn. And the first time, you know, we're at this point, Dan and I are playing it on Legendary for who knows what reason. And we're trying to like get past all of these Covenant and like these tanks and everything. And Dan is in a Ghost, and he finally makes it through. And he, you know, like you can see the bottom and you can see the ramp and everything. And he decides, I don't need the ramp. I'm just going to drive off the cliff and land like on the ground, no problem. And to be fair, I think he probably could have made it. But halfway through his descent, he's like bailing, and he jumps out and just dies. Oh. And we had to like go all the way back. It's like I was already dead at that point, I think. And I was like, what? Like why? Like why? Why did you? Why did you do that? And then the second time, it was like in that same spot, and I was in a Scorpion tank, and Dan had somehow made it onto the ground and was attacking the Covenant like on his own. And so I take the tank, and I'm driving down this like sharp turn, and Dan's on the ground, and he's like, "All right, don't worry, I'm down here. I'm gonna clear a path. I see you now." And like at that point, the tank is not super maneuverable,
right.
And I drive it off the side, and I literally land it right on top of Dan.
Oh.
And I felt so bad about that because I was like, "Oh crap!"
That's
like
incredible.
now is not the time to be making rookie mistakes like that, Brett. But sometimes that's just the way it goes. Oh man, there was another time. I think this was towards the end of the level. Dan loved being in the ghosts. He was like that. I like that. Rapid fire. They're quick. Like who doesn't? Like everyone loves to be in a ghost like that. And he, so we're like going through these tunnel systems, and we get out into the open where like the actual control room pyramid is. And there's two elites, and they both have, or one of them has a ghost. And so I'm like, okay, we'll kill the elite, and we'll give Dan the ghost because Dan likes the ghost. And so I like charge up, and like maybe I stole the ghost first, and I try and drive it over the elite, and of course it doesn't work. And I hop out, and I'm like, "Here, Dan, like take the ghost." And he's like, "No, the elite's gonna get it." I'm like, "No, he's not." And sure enough, the elite hopped in and then killed us both. Completely unnecessary deaths, and just like one of those moments where we're like, he looked at me and was like, "What are you doing? Like, like what is wrong with you? You had him. You could have had it. We could have been fine." But I was like, I don't know. I'm just trying to like. I know you love the ghost. But yeah, such a fun campaign. So much fun playing with Dan. Dan is like a lighthearted, kind of guy, and we had an absolute ball playing. So I hope, for those of you who have been watching, first of all, thank you. It's super fun to share the journey with you. Also, I just hope that you're having a good time and, enjoying it, or at the very least able to enjoy the shenanigans and hijinks that Dan and I get into. I don't know, have we released the the highlight reel for season 1 yet, or is that coming out?
I don't know if that came out this week or if it comes out on Wednesday. I think it might come out on Wednesday.
Okay. Oh, you know what? No, I think it did come out already. If you don't have the time to sit through the entire Halo Combat Evolved campaign, which I get it, but also you might have. You can check out the highlight reel. It's on our YouTube channel at Carpe Ludos. And just see the highlights of Dan and I and our crazy shenanigans as we attempt to blunder our way through the campaign.
Yeah, it'll be a good taste of the level.
Yeah.
Which is high.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, and yeah. It's fun looking back on how far you've come and all the things that have happened along the way, and looking forward to what's coming next. Dan and I are gearing up for Halo 2, or Halo 2 and our campaign there, and we're just gonna keep this train right on rolling.
Honestly, I'm super excited for it, and I'm also super excited because, and I highly recommend anyone listening who hasn't played through Halo. I was replaying through Halo while Brett and Dan were, and I was trying to, I ended up getting carried away, but I was trying to stick with the episodes. And man, is it amazing to play through a level and then watch them play through the same level, knowing what's coming for them. Oh, it was so much fun to do that.
Oh, I didn't know that you were playing through it. That is super fun. Oh my gosh. I feel like that's the way to do it, because I don't know, there's so many things that happen in that game that, I don't know, it's hard to keep track of, and that's super cool. Yeah, highly recommend it. It's super fun. Part of me wonders if Dan and I should have started with Halo Reach, because technically that is the prequel or whatever. I don't know. You kind of have to start with Combat Evolved though, right? Because that was the breakthrough. That's what started it all. But I don't know. It reminds me of the whole Star Wars thing. Do you start with the original trilogy? Do you start with the prequels?
Right, exactly.
I don't know. That is a question that we'll have to wait for fatherhood, I guess, or I was talking to a friend recently, and they said that they are probably going to start with Rogue One, and then dive into the original trilogy. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Interesting strategy.
Yeah. Anyways, Keegan, you played through Halo Reach, right?
Yes. Yeah, I played through that this December, right when it came out.
Okay. What did you think about it?
So I honestly liked it. Like, I had a great time with it. I thought it was a nice, like, condensed story structure.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy's about to get it. See ya.
Get him. No.
I thought it had a really nice, like, condensed story structure. You know what's gonna happen, so
yeah.
you can kind of like sit back and watch the events unfold. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of. I think that's something that, as much crap as everyone gives the Star Wars prequel movies, like, part of the appeal in watching it is what's going to happen to Anakin Skywalker from day one.
Right.
So there's kind of this dramatic irony in knowing that, like, oh, this person is going to turn evil at some point. We're just kind of helplessly watching it happen.
Right.
Like, we know what happens to Reach. If you've played the beginning of Halo 1, which most people have statistically. If you're watching this, you probably played it. If you haven't, go do it right now.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Boy, I remember the the commercials and the marketing campaign when Halo Reach was, like, just coming out. Wow. I mean, was Halo Reach Bungie? I feel like that might have been the last game that Bungie did.
I don't know. My heart tells me 343, but I'm really not sure.
I can't remember, but I just remember, like, some of the commercials and ads that they put out, like, remember Reach and all these things. I was like, good gosh, like, I don't know, it was amazing. It was an event.
Yeah, totally.
But some people do not like Reach. Some people just don't.
And I wonder why, because here's the thing. I will say I didn't like the multiplayer for Reach, only because they start you with the battle rifle every time, and on console that's fine, but on PC with, like, these guys who have, like, crazy laser reflexes, it's just a nightmare. Like, you can't spawn without immediately getting picked off by someone.
Right. Does Reach have Firefight in it?
I think so. I can't remember what that mode is.
Okay, so Firefight, I think it actually started in Halo 3 ODST, which also is an amazing game that I absolutely love. I don't know, Keegan, have you ever played ODST?
Nope.
Okay, it's fantastic. It's like, it reminds me of old, like, detective noir movies where it's, like, raining and there's, like, someone playing a sad saxophone all the time. It's got like a nice aesthetic to it. I think.
Nice vibe.
Anyway, I think Firefight came out in that game, and that's essentially where, like, you and your squad are just, like, fighting wave after wave after wave after wave of, like, enemies, and you essentially, like, last as long as you can. Which I have found a lot of, like, I don't know, maybe it's the people I've played with, I don't know, but, like, we've had a lot of fun in that game mode, and I think it might be in Reach, it might not.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, but I've heard a lot of people not necessarily liking the multiplayer on Reach for a lot of those kind of reasons. But some people just don't like the game either. And I'm like, whoa. Like, why? It is so great. Like, first of all, you get this whole team of Spartans, which are awesome. Like, okay, if you don't like Emil and, like, the skull that he carved onto his helmet and, like, his whole temperament or whatever. Like, yo, but it's worth it though, because he looks amazing.
He looks scary, yeah.
Yeah. Or, like, oh man, that whole team is just so cool. And the line, like, some of the dialogue in there is amazing. Like, tell him to make it count is what George says, like, when he throws you off the Covenant Corvette before he, like, blows it up.
Yeah, there's some cool cinematic moments for sure.
Yeah. Or Emil when he's taking down the elites on the mass driver, he's like, I'm ready. How about you? Like, oh, it's so good. I don't know why people don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look it up and see, like, what the hubbub about it is. Cause I saw in the news recently a bunch of, like, speedrunners. There's apparently, like, a hidden Master Chief thing in the last level when you're supposed to, like, try and outlast.
Oh yeah.
And a bunch of speedrunners are, like, you have to outlast the, like, waves of Covenant, like, for a really long time to get to it or something. And it's still in the news. People are still playing it like that, so.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, I remember that level, and I thought that was a really cool way to end the game.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Because you've accomplished your mission. Like Pillar of Autumn gets away. Spoilers. And you're just like kind of left. They're like, all right, well, cool, thanks.
See you later.
You're like, uh-oh, like coming out Armada bearing down on Reach, about to glass the whole planet. Well, they didn't glass the entire planet, but that's neither here nor there. And you just like have to survive, and you're just like out there. And I like it how like your helmet cracks, like your body takes more damage, and I don't know. They did a lot of really cool things with that game. That I think are underappreciated. Granted, there are a couple of moments where I was like, what? Like when that one Spartan gets shot in the head and dies, and they had their helmet on, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, why?
That's like, isn't the whole point of the helmet to...
Yeah, I like, who's making these things? To be able to take like a bunch of like hits, and granted, it was a sniper rifle, but I don't know. Like Master Chief jumps out of like a spaceship and re-enters the Earth's orbit, and the armor is like okay.
Right.
So, like, what the heck? What's going on? But yeah, so you liked it. You had a good time.
Oh yeah, I thought it was an absolute blast.
Okay. Any like favorite moments that really stick out to you?
Honestly, like the end was super cool. Also, just like I don't know, the vehicle sections I thought were all really well done.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a well put together game. After it was over, I was like, wow, that was delightful. I had a good time with that. Even though it was like very somber in tone.
Yeah. I totally forgot that you like get to take up that short sword into the atmosphere and like play.
Oh yeah, you're right. That was a cool sequence.
That was baller. Like that was so cool. Like I remember the first time I was playing it, I was like, what? Like this is new. That really got me. I thought that was super fun, and I don't know, just like through and through, it was really good. I don't know why people hate on that. I know that other people tend to hate on ODST a little bit, and I'm like, yo, these are good games. And also, they're like taking risks. They're like expanding the universe a little bit. They're giving you more gameplay. They're giving you different storylines, and honestly, that's like what has set Halo apart from like Call of Duty or some of the other games, is that it has this rich universe with all these characters and backstories, and for a lot of us, like that's why we keep coming back. It's because we care about the story, we care about the characters, and we want to see what happens. While killing a whole bunch of aliens, but I don't know. So I'm not exactly sure why people like hate on ODST and Reach, but they're fantastic. I thought Reach was a great prequel to the game, and I don't know, it was a lot of fun, so much fun.
Yeah, totally. So you got to prep me a little bit for Halo 2, and I guess the first thing we have to do is debrief a little bit on Halo 1, in the sense of I kind of forgot how I don't use this in like a negative way, but Halo 1 was simple in that like every time there was like kind of a complication, like the game didn't really worry about it. Like it would, like Cortana and 343 Guilty Spark would just like teleport you places.
Yeah.
Because like they didn't want you backtracking again like 1,000 times.
Right.
And like a lot of the challenge of Halo is like you fight through a corridor and then something changes and then you have to fight back through the same corridor.
Right.
And it kind of felt dated in that way, where it's like modern games, they like have a lot less faith in the player to like stay engaged. They're just like, this game is going to be hard and you're going to play through it, and it's might not necessarily be fun the whole time, but it'll feel rewarding once you get done. That's where like Reach didn't feel like that at all. Reach felt like it was a very designed game.
Oh yeah. I think like the majority of things that you do in that game is because Captain Keyes has done something or needs rescued. Like you go after Keyes like at least like twice, if not 3 times. And it's like, Keyes, what are you doing, man? You should be like you should be the leader of this resistance on this ring, not going on these missions to go investigate like a weapons cache or something. Like,
yeah, he really is taking too much initiative there.
Yeah, he really is. It's like, bro,
it's like, you gotta Keyes, I'm right here. I'm your super soldier secondhand man. Like
let me do it. And I get it, like Keyes was always one who wanted to be like more hands-on, and he cared about the people under his command and everything, but like at a certain point, you have to look at the larger strategic picture and realize that if you die, like I don't know, he got captured by the Covenant like right off.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah, and then you have to go into Truth and Reconciliation and save him. And I don't know how many Marines died while Dana and I tried to do that, but like it was a lot. And a lot of it wasn't just because we're negligent and accidentally killed a couple. Like the Marines, like it should never have been like that, you know? Like you are creating strategically compromised positions where you have to allocate resources to fix the mistakes of your commanding officer. And Keith should know better than that.
Right, exactly.
But anyways.
So my like impressions from Halo 1, both being like taunted by, and if you are interested in learning Brett's and my history with the Halo franchise, check out our last live stream. I'm sure YouTube is smart enough that it will link it at the end of this video.
Hopefully.
But essentially, like, my outlook on Halo 2 is like, I'm kind of not sure how much, because in my mind, like when I was a kid waiting for Halo 2 to come out, I was like, not sure how much of an increase it would be. You know, like in my mind back then, I was like, oh, this is going to be like the most graphically advanced game we've ever seen. It was like a big AAA game, but like when I make that jump and I'm going to play it in like the classic graphics mode, not in like the updated graphics mode, I'm really curious as to like how much closer it feels to Halo 1 than like the more modern Halo games.
I think it does have it is like pretty close to it in like spirit and look. Of course there are like some things that are just like very obviously different. But you know, I think that they so if my memory serves me right, when they made Halo Combat Evolved, they were not anticipating it being they were anticipating it being like a one-off. They kind of did it as like an experiment for this new gaming platform, and you know, like I've looked into like, you know, the way that they even developed the music and everything, and it was kind of hastily done a little bit. You know, like there was a lot of thought behind it, but they're like, okay, we gotta do this and we gotta have that, and like we want it to be something new and different and exciting. And they definitely like invested in it, and it's evident, of course. But they weren't necessarily anticipating it being the success that it was. At least I think. You know, people might argue that, and maybe I'm wrong. But so when it came time for Halo 2, they're like, okay, Halo was big. Now we have to go even bigger.
Right.
Like we gotta make them like poop their pants. It's gotta be so big. And honestly, I think they delivered. Like I really do. Yeah. Like the lengths that they went, especially like, I don't know if people are as interested in the music, but like they went above and beyond for the Halo 2 like soundtrack. It is a masterpiece. It is so good. Like I would listen to it while I worked out. Like I was like, you know, wailing guitars and all these like great like moments and everything. It was fantastic. Like even, you know, character development with certain characters went like even farther. Then I don't know. I wasn't a super aware gamer back then, but I don't know. I remember like there are moments in that game that just really stick out to me. Like, you know, towards the end, and Keegan, you'll like get to this, and I don't think it spoils anything, but at one point Cortana says like, don't make a girl a promise that you know you can't keep. And that, like, I don't know, there are just like so many moments and like lines of dialogue in that game that I remember to this day. And it's not just because I've played it a couple times, but because they truly are like significant moments. And I don't know, it just like, it was iconic, I think, in a lot of ways. So yeah, I'm super excited to hear what you have to say about it, but I think that they really delivered on it. Like I really think that they did. Like they're like, okay, how can we make this better? For not only in terms of like story and gameplay, but how do we make this a better overall experience for the gamer? And I think that they put the gamer on a pedestal and was like, everything we do is in service to the gamer. And I think that like because of that, it's gold. It's pure gold.
Wow, I'm very, very interested to play it now. I mean, I already was, believe me, because I've been waiting to be able to play Halo 2 on PC for like, I don't know, 15 years, but
Yeah.
Probably more than that. I haven't actually done the math. Wait, how old am I now? Oh wow, a lot more than that.
There were just like specific moments in the game, and I don't know how much you know about it, and I don't want to give anything away.
Okay, I'll tell you what I know. I know that
Okay,
I think I've seen the opening of it, and this might actually be Halo 3. But you're in like Zanzibar or someplace, like the Covenant invade Earth, and okay, that's Halo 2, right?
Yeah, New Mombasa.
Yeah, New Mombasa. I've played the beginning of that mission, and I think that's it. That's as far as I've ever gotten.
Okay. Yeah, New Mombasa is fantastic. Of course, like new guns, new weapons. You can dual wield in it, and that was like a big deal. But so I won't give away too much more. But there are like specific moments where back in the day, like you got to that part of the game and you're like, okay, what? Like I get to do this now? Like, okay, game freaking on. And it just like it did a great job of like recapturing the imagination of the gamers, recapturing the fans, and giving them more, like so much more. And you know that's why I think it has been such a success and remains like one of the greatest sequels in all of video game history.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of people who don't really know the Halo franchise or really know Halo period still probably, if they're old enough to remember, still know that Halo 1 was like what made it popular with like people who play games, but Halo 2
Give me the sniper! No!
What the hell was that? Oh my gosh, there's people talking in my server. I wonder if they can hear me. But no, Halo 1 was, God, what was that? Completely lost my train of thought because I heard some weird non-Brett voice talking.
Yeah, I was like, who is
Yeah, nice try, idiot.
Oh my God, I have to mute these people. But first...
Are they trash talking to you?
I don't know if they're talking to me because I didn't do anything, but
I heard
it's very possible.
An idiot for sure. And I was like, whoa, you do not call Keegan an idiot.
All right, I got to use this rocket launcher before I lose it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, Halo 1, like, you know, it was huge at the time, obviously, and like anyone I knew who was like kind of nerdy and like played games, like was obsessed with it. Oh, I nailed them. But what Halo 2 did was it was like all of a sudden like the football players were playing it. You know, the cool
Ooh, nice try, Black.
who don't necessarily play games were all of a sudden talking about Halo, and that for me, I remember. I mean, I was in middle school at the time, and that was an absolute whiplash for me.
Yeah, it made gaming like more mainstream because it was so cool. It was so legit. Oh man.
And I mean, it really kicked off a wave, you know, after that Halo 3 and the Call of Duty games and like Gears of War and stuff. Like after Halo 2, I feel like it was like, I don't know, I don't want to maybe go as far as to say it like completely was like, I mean, it was definitely one of the factors in bringing nerd culture mainstream, you know, like it was one of the contributing factors of why like Marvel was able to make, you know, these comic book movies that until then were like a very small audience. You know, super niche. Like Sam Raimi had his Spider-Mans and there was like some X-Men's, but they were just, you know, like blockbusters. It wasn't like everyone and their mother loves this franchise, you know?
Right, yeah.
Ooh, I got juked.
Ooh. Yeah, I really think that it had a profound impact on culture and what games could be, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, I have friends who talk about, you know, staying like Friday and Saturday nights where like that's what you did. You were up all night on, you know, like playing Halo 2 online, and like I don't know, like that is so many people's like childhood memories kind of that I don't know, like that is impressive for a video game to have that kind of clout, you know, like
oh totally.
It had such an impact on people that's like, you know, what they remember of their child, like that was their like childhood or, you know, like whatever, like they have such fond memories of Halo 2 and hanging out with friends and playing and all that kind of stuff that, like, I don't know, like that's beautiful in a way that it had such a profound impact on so many lives beyond just being like a fun game to play, but that it was an experience that like partially potentially defined like the youth of some people. Like that is just, that's cool. I think.
Yeah, for sure. And this is just me thinking out loud now, having weird, profound thoughts. But like, when you think about not even our parents, because our parents are probably a little bit too young, but like definitely our grandparents and maybe kind of people in between, since we're kind of like late-ish millennials. But like, you think about like music and how it was like a generation bonded over, you know, the Beatles and, you know, this like small kind of like these like great bands that people remember today. But like these days, music is so huge and there's so much of it, and everyone has their own like little tiny sub genre preference that like we don't really have these crazy superstars anymore. And there's a lot of literature that's been written about like the death of the rock star and like how, you know, music is becoming less of like a famous person's game. Which, I mean, say what you want about that, whether you like it or don't like it. But I wonder if like we were playing these games in an era when video games were just that, you know, there were only like so many games being made.
Right.
That like all we had was Halo at the time, and we all kind of bonded over it because it's the game that we had that was big at the time. You know, like what other first-person shooter was big at the same time as Halo? Like,
yeah, you know, and that's one of the things I try and think back, and like there was like some Battlefield, Medal of Honor, Call of Duty, maybe Doom, like, but I don't think any of those brought people together in the ways that Halo did.
No, not on a huge scale, at least.
No. I would definitely agree with that. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm super excited for you to play through Halo 2 because it is such a good campaign. It is so cool, the things that they did with it and the story that they tell with it. They did a great job of staying true to like the Halo universe, and you know, I don't know, like keeping some things the same, but definitely like adding more and making it different. And I don't know, just like I think with Halo 1, you know, you get introduced to this new world, this new universe, and all these things in it. And on a certain level, it's like kind of superficial. And then Halo 2 comes and they just like plant roots. They're like, okay, like within Halo 2, you see like political intrigue within like the Covenant, and you see like politics on Earth a little bit, and like all these like interlocking webs, and like the significance of the Forerunners. Like, I don't know, they just truly, they tie it all together. And you know, I don't know, if Halo 1 was like weaving fabric, then Halo 2 is like them building this like beautiful tapestry for all the paint that comes with Halo 3, to like finish off this great piece of art that they have created from the ground up.
Very poetic metaphor.
yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm super excited to hear like your thoughts on it. Dan and I are just now getting into it, and it is fun. It's interesting. So we're playing, or we started playing Halo 2 on the Xbox 360, my old Xbox 360, because that's like what we had, and we ran into this like super weird problem that we could not fix. And for all of you like who watch Halol, I just want to apologize for that problem that we had in the first couple episodes. When we played multiplayer, it was a vertical split screen. And Keegan, I don't know if you've ever played a vertical split screen before, but it was the most annoying thing I have encountered in video game culture in a long time. It was like you had blinders on. You had no idea who was coming from like the flanks, and you had such a small like range of vision. Oh, it was so bad. And so like the first couple episodes of Halol are with that vertical split screen. And after I think like 2 or 3 episodes, I was like, that's it. And I bought like an Xbox One, and we've got the Master Chief Collection, and it's been beautiful from there. And honestly, really nice. So within like the game, you can switch between the anniversary like art and like upgrades and everything to like the original graphics and everything.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Like the cutscenes with the anniversary graphics are unbelievable. Like it looks real. Like it looks like a freaking movie. It is truly amazing what they did. The original graphics, of course, are good and nostalgic, and you know were impressive for the time. And for the most part, Dan and I try and play on the new graphics just because you know it looks pretty nice. But there are times where it is so dark that we have to go back to the old graphics. You know, it's so like dark and edgy in some places that we're like, okay, we like legitimately can't see. In the first season of Halol, we joke quite often about the Master Chief having like a flashlight as like part of his armor.
Yeah, instead of like night vision or something.
Right. Well,
tech.
not even the fact that like he has a flashlight, but it's the fact that the flashlight eventually dies. Like the battery slowly runs out, and I'm like, okay, he has a fusion generator on his back. Like, why is the flashlight battery dying? Like, we joke about that all the time because I'm like, I do not understand why. And then, you know, we're playing like Halo 2, and you have that. I think you have the flashlight feature still in Halo 2. But there were some parts where it was so dark where we absolutely needed it, and we're like, okay, like, you know, there we go, like making fun of the flashlight, but we actually really need it now because it's so freaking dark in here. But yeah, it is super fun. The game is absolutely beautiful, and we're having a great time playing through it right now. So we're working through the campaign, and I feel like it's a long campaign. I don't know if other people agree with that, but for whatever reason, I just really feel like, and that's another way that Halo 2 really delivered, is that like it is a good long campaign with like a lot of different missions and a lot of different areas, a lot to see and do, and just like explore. Like you really get to explore the Halo universe quite a bit in Halo 2, and I think that's super cool. But so we've had a good time exploring and getting through it right now, but there are parts where it is tough. It is tough, and not just because the assault rifle is not in the game. Which I think when it came out, some people were like, why? Like, the assault rifle was like good. Like, why would you give it up? But you know, having to choose between the battle rifle and the SMGs was not something that I have ever been a big fan of. I'm pretty tried and true with the assault rifle, and I don't know. It was sad when I realized that there was no assault rifle in Halo 2, but just the way it goes sometimes, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is how things go sometimes. Well, I'm super excited for Halo Season 2. When, I guess, just quick questions from me as someone who's about to be playing Halo 2. Like, all of Halo 1 pretty much takes place on the first Halo. Yeah. Whatever. But
maybe not.
Obviously Halo 2 takes place, you know, partially at least on Earth.
Yeah. It starts out on Earth, yeah.
So, like, I guess so much of my experience and expectation of Halo is like exploring these like crazy alien megastructures and like just kind of the beauty of like what a Halo is, like this crazy ring world. Like you can even see it in the multiplayer. It's so cool.
Right.
But obviously Halo 2 has to turn some of that on its head because you're not even in Halo for some of it.
Right.
So I guess like what expectations like we've talked about like some of the expectations I should hold on to, like, you know, your beautiful analogy of tapestries and Halo 1 being the fabric of Halo 2's tapestry. But like what kind of preconceived notions from Halo 1 that people have do you think they should get rid of or forget going into Halo 2?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't know. I think that there are some people who are, you know, like platform runners or whatever it is, you know, and they just want to like get through the like the levels as quick as possible, and you know, I don't know, that's what it is. But I would definitely recommend not doing that in Halo 2 because they did put so much thought and energy into this game that if you just like rush through it as fast as you can, you miss like so many little details and so many like things that the developers really worked on and like really emphasized in it. So I don't know, definitely try and just like make the most of it, like try and explore. Like I feel like there's a lot of opportunity to kind of like explore in this game. Like it's not there are some instances where it's very much a sandbox, you know, and you get to like run around and explore a little bit, and that is really cool.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Because Halo 1 is not really, like, they give you some wide open areas, but for the most part, it's like very empty levels where there's one clear thing you're supposed to do, and you have to do that to advance. And, like, there's some creative ways to get there, but, like, in the end, it's like there's one group of soldiers you have to rescue, and then you can move on.
Right, yeah. So you start to see a little bit more of, like, the sandbox design in Halo 2 a little bit. And I know that because, like, there were quite a few moments where Dan and I are like, wait, did we go here? No, we're just here. Did we go over here? Like, you know, in some cases it is like absolutely frustrating, but it's also beautiful because, like, that is exactly, like, we don't know where we're going, like, if it were real life. So
right,
it adds a sense of realism to it, I think, which is cool. So don't get frustrated by that. Like, be amazed and marvel at. You know, Halo 2 came out in 2004, I think.
Wow.
So, like, I don't know, just amazing for that time where the world is so developed and comprehensive and everything. Gosh, let's see, other expectations.
I mean, one expectation, I mean, it's not necessarily an expectation, but, like, something that I really like about the Halo games and the aesthetic is, like, it's kind of empty. Like, they always have this kind of, like, somber, like, the music is obviously very somber and beautiful, but, like, playing through Halo 1, obviously a lot of it was the technology was limited. Like, I'm sure, what's the level where there's the sweet beach landing that time?
Yeah, the Silent Cartographer.
Yeah, Silent Cartographer. Like, I bet if they had today's technology, like, that would be, like, you know, 30 Pelicans touching down in, like, a huge battle, but, like, at the time, it was a very small battle when you look at it. I mean, it's still super cool, but, like, and part of that is, like, the whole game kind of has this aesthetic of feeling kind of empty, not in a bad way, but it's kind of like this hollow, somber, sort of feeling. And, like, you don't really encounter very many Marines. You encounter, like, maybe 5 of them maximum at a time. And that was something that, it's not necessarily something that I'm like, oh, this is part of Halo's identity for me, but it's really something I liked about the game. I liked how isolated it kind of felt. So does that change with Halo 2, or do they kind of still have this kind of, like, somber, you know, melancholy, kind of hollow sort of feeling? Do they maintain that even with, like, the better technology?
I think in some cases, yes, they do. But in other cases, no. Like, they definitely, like, amped it up. Like, there are quite a few moments where you are playing with, you know, like, quite a few Marines and, you know, like, quite a few enemies. In some places, it's, like, big, like, especially within the first couple episodes, like, you are fighting, like, street-to-street guerrilla style in the streets of New Mombasa. And there are some cases where it feels like it's crazy. It's so, you know, like, hunters busting through doors and, you know, hitting you from alleyways and snipers up on rooftops, and like, there's quite a bit of, like, realism to it, and, you know, I mean, I think that they in some cases I think that they really do stay true to that, like, more somber kind of feel a little bit, because there are, like, quite a few moments where you're like, I don't know, they do a good, like, job of pushing emotions to the forefront in some cases like that. But yeah, also, again, the music is absolutely incredible. And I honestly think that that's one reason why it's, like, such a powerful game in a lot of cases, is because that music is just beautiful. Like, they took the idea and the concepts that they had for the music in the first one and just really were like, okay, let's make this the best it can possibly be. And they did. They really did. Because so, like, definitely be paying attention to the music as you go through the game, because there are some that is just, like, absolutely stunning.
Wow. Well, I mean, I couldn't be more amped for Halo 2. Like I said, I've been waiting 15, 17, however many years for this game to come out. I'm so excited to see, like, what it is. I honestly don't think at this point it could disappoint me, because I have no real expectations other than I just want to play it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Don't skimp on dual wielding needlers, because that is the move.
I remember in one of the episodes you were talking about that with Dan.
Oh yeah. If you want to just blow any enemy out of your way, dual wield needlers. Like,
it's good to know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't dual wield them in Halo 3.
So do it while you can.
So overpowered in Halo 2.
Good to know.
It's freaking beautiful, man.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and talking about Halo. I know it's the easiest thing you could possibly do.
Yeah, it's super enjoyable.
We could obviously be here all day. So yeah, season 2 of Halol, it's coming out in the next few weeks. So keep your eyes to every Wednesday. Keep your eyes to the Carpelitos channel. If you're not subscribed, please do so. It'd be amazing for us. And we put out a lot of crazy, varied content. We have a lot of sweet shows in production right now. With a lot of new faces, a lot of fun stuff going on. We like it's just a grab bag of craziness here at Carpelitos, which is why we do what we do.
Right.
Cool. So thank you so much for coming on, Brett. That's all we got for today. You can watch this rebroadcast on YouTube, which is where it'll be posted tomorrow on Monday. We generally post these on Mondays. So yeah, that's all I got. Brett, you have any final words for our amazing viewers?
Stay healthy, guys. Stay smart and keep fighting the good fight.
Yes. Stay
Don't let
healthy. Wash your hands.
Yeah. The Covenant want you to lose, so don't let that happen.
Yeah.
Take care of yourselves.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.